listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cockerel. Text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website. And for your what do you know about it living in your cosy media world texts, can you send those to Magic FM? OK, here we are.
Morning, Frank.
I feel a bit like the band on the Titanic.
Wow.
We're playing on.
I blame you, personally, for saying, now get out at the end of every show. I think they've taken you a bit too literally, Frank.
Subliminal messaging, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
Well made point.
Oh, well.
Well made point. In fact,
Can I just... Sorry, Al, I just thought that was such a Birmingham Nana response to the result. Oh, wow. It's a bit more than, oh, well.
Is that what you thought when you put the telly on the morning? Oh, well. Like some kind of Wallace and Gromit figure.
I wish I had been that unsweary. But hey, I'll tell you who I feel sorry for, Nigel Farage.
What's he going to do now?
I woke up this morning and think, oh no, I'll go out and do a speech about... Oh,
yeah.
I don't know what he's going to do.
Well,
Poor old
he
Nigel.
already knew.
Oh, he's going to go down the news agent, get the ciggies.
I think he already knew. You know, he had a TV debate scheduled for Channel 4. I think it was like Wednesday or Tuesday night or something. And he pulled out of it to go for dinner with his son.
I thought he had big family issues, it said.
Well, then they said in the paper the next day, actually, he just went for dinner with his son that he hasn't seen for 9 months. And you go... Hang on, you've campaigned for this for your whole adult life, and then you suddenly went,
well,
actually, no, Nando's. That's what we're doing. We're going to go for Nando's. But if he was your dad,
yeah, I mean, I think it's fair that he hasn't seen him in 9 months.
Well, I think you always love your dad.
I suppose, yeah.
It reminds me of Paul Madeley, who was a Leeds United player who was called into the 1970 England football squad and said he couldn't do it because he'd already booked a family holiday in Cornwall. Brilliant. And they didn't do refunds, so he didn't go to the World Cup.
Excellent.
Reminds me, was it the snooker player or footballer, Frank, who said, don't need friends. Oh, Peter Ebdon, yeah. Don't need friends, I've got my family.
Yes, exactly.
I wonder what Ebdon's views on Brexit are. Probably.
I can guess those.
Pleased, yeah.
Anyway, look.
I was in Paris.
Oh, well,
you were in
when
Paris?
It all kicked off.
That was apt.
I thought they weren't going to let me back in.
Pexit.
Yeah.
Paris exit.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
I'm thinking, let's have a go at the smoking ban now.
What? Let's see if we can repeal
Just
it.
reverse everything.
Yeah.
Crash helmets, do we really need them?
Well...
I don't know. I think I hate hat hair more than major head injuries.
Do you?
You know, if
I know what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You're with me on this.
I apologised to room service in my hotel.
What were they...
For the result.
Oh, did you?
Did you? Oh, dear.
I said, désolé.
Look, it's going to be fine.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be fine, because I've got euros, so we're quids in.
I've got euros, be a good T-shirt.
Yeah.
I've got
loads of them.
And that,
have you?
That would have been you wouldn't have sold many of those T-shirts, say, 3 or 4 years ago. Still, it's, I should say, it's Pride in London this week, which is a lovely antidote to all this.
This is true.
People who voted out in a much more warm-hearted way.
They really have.
There was some controversy over the pencils.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. But what a band they were. I love that 60s doo-wop.
Well, a pencil marking is quite an oddly archaic way to vote for historical change.
I know people said it was that was just paranoia, that don't do it in pencil because it might get robbed out and changed. But it's the first time it had struck me that I have voted in pencil my whole life.
Yes.
Oh,
and I've never thought... Oh, somebody could rob this out.
Yeah.
I think because when I grew up, and I don't know, I'm going to do one of my... Do these still exist? The ink robber was... it was just in its infancy, and people were talking about it the way people now talk about microchip technology.
Right. 3D printing or something.
You know what I mean? It was a big thing, the ink robber. Well, you can rub out ink. I remember people at school saying, ink, you say. It was like a... Do you remember them? They were hard as iron.
Oh, were they? Oh, yes.
I remember the dark
There's
blue
one with
bit
a blue
on the end
and
of
a
a
pink.
white rubber.
Blue and a pink.
Yeah.
I had blue and pink.
That's it. You used to get rubbers that did
Yes.
pencil one end and ink... But the ink rubber seems to have failed.
Can I be honest?
Look how much
they
happier
never
Frank
really
is.
worked.
Look how much happier Frank is now that we're doing Do You Remember This?
That's what this...
He's visibly lifted in mood.
This is where I'm moving.
He found it stressful talking about the other.
Do people
sense
still use...
that.
Do people still use Tipp-Ex?
Today's texting, 8, 12, 15.
And who invented Tipp-Ex?
Well, you can't do...
Who invented Tipp-Ex?
Mike Nesbitt from the Monkees' mother.
Nesmith.
Nesmith, sorry.
Yeah. Mike
No.
Nesmith from the Monkees. His mum invented it.
Yeah.
Come on! We're back! They can't keep us down. Oh, dear. So, yes. By the way, Scotland are so keen on the whole thing. Why have they vetoed the European Championships?
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've had some lovely Tipp-Ex correspondence,
Have
haven't
we?
we, Al? Dino Casino has texted us. Morning, guys. I recently had a big argument with my girlfriend over Tipp-Ex, as apparently it's now called correctional fluid.
Oh. Yeah.
As you can tell, we clearly have too much time on our hands, as we could have argued over the fact I forgot to pay a household bill. All the best, Dino Casino.
I've heard
It is
the
called that.
Yeah, correctional fluid, but that's like, you know, people suddenly became window technicians and stuff,
Oh, yeah,
window
yeah.
cleaners. It's part of that wave of
Yes.
grandness that
Yeah.
people have. It'll always be Tipp-Ex to me, mother.
More
That's
importantly,
my Michael Nesmith
somewhat intrigued
impression.
by Dino Casino's name. I feel like we're overlooking that.
I was proud that we'd
As if
overlooked
that's
it.
normal. Like,
Does he work
I
on a
saw-
cruise ship?
I saw
hope
it
so.
as a lure.
Oh, you
I felt
think
like
you
a
don't want to
fish.
take the bait?
I felt like a fish that was swimming past, and I saw this glittering thing, and I thought, no, I don't think so.
It was what? It was a siren call, Frank, that you chose to ignore.
Indeed.
What about Marianne Biggs?
is that another name? That?
No.
Oh, okay.
She says, I'm a frequent Tipp-Ex user.
Oh.
I can't revise without a bottle nearby. Ugly notes, ugly results.
That's a good motto for life. I'm writing that down.
She goes on.
Neatly.
She's actually sent another tweet. I live in fear that I become famous in my field and someone finds my shoddy notes and laughs at the crossings out.
Oh, I think it's fine. Fine to cross out.
I'd refer her rather to Jacques Derrida, the
Course you would.
French philosopher who used to have crossing outs printed in his book to make points of what he thought of using as a word before he used the word.
Oh,
So you'd
nice.
think about it a bit more. Very
I like the
clever.
sound of him. Jacques
12,
Derrida.
15, Absolute Radio.
Yeah, on this of all weeks, we're doing Jacques Derrida stuff.
Mind your own business, you media git. The people have spoken. Magic FM, can you send those, please? Told you once.
I had a strange
Magic
moment.
Are we media gits? Oh, I didn't
You know
know.
that
think
thing
we
that
are.
you'll remember where you are on certain historic days?
Oh, yeah.
I stayed in a hotel, and on the day that the Brexit result was announced, I
And the
woke
people
up in
spoke.
that hotel, and I'd stayed up to watch the first few results
Did
come
you
in.
have a item of footwear against the door?
I did.
Oh, some things never change.
And so I'd gone to sleep kind of like, oh, I'll see the results in the morning. And you know that, have you had this thing where sometimes you stay in a hotel room and a previous guest has set an early alarm and not unset it? So it went off at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. And so I turned the telly on a bit of a huff. But then the speech by Cameron, when he came out to sort of resign, the hotel TV wasn't very good. It was one of those ones with a weird connection where the sound would just drop out every few seconds. And so it sounded a bit like he was swearing, but it was being censored, you know, like on songs.
okay.
Like, on songs that
Or a bit
contain
Norman
swearing on
Collier.
it. Yeah, yeah.
No, also in Big Brother with the bird song.
But hearing
Oh, yes.
Cameron sounding like he was swearing, I was watching it thinking, he's taking this really badly. He's really not happy about having
See,
to
I
resign.
was staring very much at Sam Camp, thinking,
Oh, were
Yes,
you?
I was.
just think a life in stationery. Doesn't get any sexier than that.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've had an email that it's asking if we've seen a thing that I wish I had seen. Hello all, I meant to email this in time for Alan's FNT, that's Friday Night Trawl, as I don't think it has any relevance for the show.
Wow.
So far, so
don't worry,
good.
that's never really stopped us.
But I've been so discombobulated by recent events that I forgot. Anyway, from the days when things were funny, just wanted to check if you heard friend of the show, Adrian Childs, during Tim Peake's interview. Tim Peake, of course, the recently returned from space gentleman.
Oh, yeah, they come over here from space.
Is he one of them media gits?
Peaky out. Adrian seemed quite excited that someone was about to ask Tim about his views on Brexit and headed live to the interview. As you'd expect, Tim was very diplomatic and said he believed voting was a private matter, so managed to duck the issue beautifully.
We know what that means.
Back to Adrian, and almost with a harumph, said Tim Peake, from sitting in a space shuttle to sitting on the fence.
Very good.
Oh,
Excellent.
80.
He says
10 out of 10.
Brilliant in his accent. Long-time readers, Brian and Tracy.
The Hagley lad has done well.
Yes.
That would be my favourite bit of commentary, sitting on... Well, actually, it's not. My favourite bit of commentary was last year's Wimbledon. Anton Dubek and Graham Lasso. Yakking. They were just having a really animated chat and laughing their head. Actually...
I liked it once Bob Wilson saying, and later, the thoughts of Paul Elliott. That kept me tuned.
There was a weird moment for the second Wales game in the Euros, where the woman who was interviewing Chris Coleman, the Wales manager, had quite a strong Welsh accent, and I heard her say to him, 3 gingers in your squad, what have you got to say about that? And
That's one of Frank's songs.
and then I realised that she'd said 3 changes in your squad. What have you got to say about that?
What about my favourite bit of commentary? It was one of those 3 in the morning that no one else would have heard, but I've never forgotten. It was Alistair Burnett, God rest his soul. And it was during the election results, and he said about a Conservative win, well, that doesn't surprise me. That place it's the nice people in the nice houses.
Oh.
Come on. Media
Nice.
git.
We've been aspiring to that ever since. My
Yeah.
favourite ever Wimbledon close-up of the crowd was Woody Allen with his lovely Oriental wife, who was eating an enormous big ice cream cone, which made her look about 12, and you could see Woody going, for God's sake, you're ruining my reputation. So, yeah.
A bit late for that.
It is a bit. Yes. I would have talked her out of that, though.
Yeah,
I mean, let's not rub their noses in it.
What a lovely man. Anyway,
Oh, I like that Bananas film.
Funny films.
Susan Boyle, One Direction.
What?
They got that wrong. They both didn't win their respective programmes. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
I thought something dreadful had happened there.
Oh, yeah, I just
on
read
a night
a
out.
list of this morning's deaths. Do we have a this morning's deaths list at Absolute
No.
Radio?
No, I don't know if people would find that entertaining over there.
Nugget's
it's
got in
informative.
touch, Frank.
We do informative as well as entertaining.
Frank,
we do.
Nugget got in touch.
What do we do?
Infotainment.
Infotainment.
Oh,
That's
is that
what
what
we
we're
do.
doing?
Yeah.
Nugget's been in touch, Frank.
Oh, yes.
Read Dino Casino's message about Tipex. Just
yeah.
another victory for the Political Correctional Brigade.
Very good.
Thank you, Nugget.
If this was at a dinner, we'd do this. You ever been
Yes.
to one of those posh dinners? If somebody says something funny, they all hit the table like that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we've not seen that.
I mean, I've spoken at posh dinners, but obviously I've never said something funny that's
Oh,
been
no,
the
I've never heard
response.
it. It's like the snooker, you know, when snooker players do. If it's
Oh,
a
I
good
like
shot.
that.
It's
I
the
like
same.
that.
It's the
And
same.
they do that when someone leaves a newspaper. It's called banging out.
Is that right?
Yes, you bang like that until they leave and no one says goodbye. There you go.
I
I
didn't
think
know
that's what
that.
banging out is anyway.
Yeah, well, that sounds, well, you know,
Different this week.
you choose your own farewells. But, yeah, I like, maybe we should start doing it on it. I don't know how it sounds at home.
Yeah.
do you
Sounds
think?
like there's building work next door, I think, more.
Yeah.
It
But we
sounds
could give
like,
it
you
a
know
go.
that moment when you think there could possibly be someone in your boot? Have you ever had that feeling? Hate that when that happens.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Now, I was wandering down, it's a road in London, in North London called the Finchley Road.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, I just realised I put the wrong mic up. I couldn't hear
Didn't turn me on.
I only just lost your right.
Yeah.
Apart from that, we've got everything else.
I'm not sure that's
We'll
what I
make
said,
sure it's
but we'll
available
go
to
with
podcast listeners.
Well, I mean-
Alan saying,
Well,
right.
we can just move me doing it then.
Good idea, Frank.
Right.
It'd be seamless.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was walking down the Finchley Road, and I tell you what I noticed
A
through
Kirsty
the trees.
MacColl song.
I noticed a blue plaque.
Oh, yeah,
Now
I love a blue plaque.
I cannot pass a blue plaque without
I love
having
them.
a read. On the bus, sometimes, you know, when you it's so exciting. You see one because you're on the top deck you haven't seen before. Brilliant. So it was Thomas Hood.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Know him?
Yep.
I don't.
What do you know of him?
Inventor of the hood.
No.
He was.
No, he really.
Yeah, he was.
He
Until
was.
then, jackets just stopped at a collar.
He wasn't the inventor of the hood.
Who was he?
He was.
That was Simon Cowell. He wrote a book called Hood's Whims and Oddities, which was, when I lived with David Baddiel, it was our toilet book.
I don't think it was, but that's another story.
No, it really was.
Well, I've heard about those years.
We only had 2 books in the toilet. We had that one and Apologia Pro Vita Sua Volume 1 by Cardinal Henry Newman.
Really?
Those are our 2 toilet books.
And you guys were poster boys for the lads.
I know,
Yeah.
it's all gone wrong. But
What did Joe Guest say when she came round?
what's her? So,
Just all the voices.
yeah,
It's not just
what
me.
What I
Joe
liked
Guest as well.
about Joe Guest is that she used to wear spectacles sometimes to sort of say, you know, don't judge a book by its, what is it?
They put spectacles on and maybe a lab coat over a bikini for a shoot.
Oh, that's a great look.
Yeah.
It is a great look.
Anyway, sorry, Frank. Back to yours and David Baddiel's
Yeah,
toilet.
so it made me really nostalgic because I think you get very attached to a toilet book. I don't mean things like books that, you know,
Yeah.
from the humour section about being in the toilet. But, you know, I've never quite worked out what the classification, why a book becomes a toilet book. I think with Hood's Whims and Oddities, it was because it was lots of little short bits, you know.
Yeah.
So, which is it's just about the right duration.
Yeah.
You can dip in. That's what you want, a dipper.
Yes. Exactly. But I decided
Well
against,
left,
I
Andrew,
decided
well left.
against it. Yeah, exactly.
we all did well there.
I jumped over it, left it to the midfielder behind me. But it really made me think about. I'd like to know what defines a toilet book. That's something I'd like to know. But then anyway, this led to another blue plaque. Now this is actually a bit of detective work because often things happen and I think, one of the readers will know. Because I think
They're
of them
really
as
knowledgeable, our readers.
people of discernment. I was. I'm sure this has got a bit London, but
People have spoken.
yeah, exactly. But I was going down Marylebone High Street on a bus, and I saw a plaque on a wall, and the bus was just going that bit fast. It looked like it was on a sort of public building. So if you live there, I'd really like to know.
But you
And
might
I'll
be
tell
more
you-
specific.
I'm
No,
sure
I'll tell you
that'll
what's confused me about it is I tried to have a read,
Yeah.
and at that speed, it looked like Linda Ronstadt.
Oh.
Now that's unlikely, isn't it? Do you
I'll tell you who it is. Linda Robson.
No. Do you think Linda Robson would Linda Ronstadt get a plaque?
Don't know who that is.
Well, exactly.
Oh, I do.
You've got one,
Famous
haven't you?
singer from the 70s.
You've got your own,
I
haven't
got
you?
one you bought me, but I mean, I don't qualify. But I can't believe Linda Ronstadt. So if anyone knows, please let me know.
Well, if A.E.
Also,
Houseman's got one.
If anyone's got... Oh, you know what you've done now, don't
Well,
you?
it's just up the
You know
road
what
from
you-
me
you
in
know what you-
Highgate Village. Is
Here we go.
Kicked in eventually.
Oh, my goodness. Everybody out. Too late. I might shout that when we walk back through Pride. That'd be a good one.
Oh, it's Pride today, lovely, isn't
It is, yes. I'm still worried about the fact we go to a gay restaurant and we're taking up seats that shouldn't.
It's fine.
On this
I think.
day this is their special
Excuse
day.
me, you're with me, you're fine.
I know, but
These
it's
are
their
my people.
It's their special day. I just feel wrong about it. Anyway, I'd love to know if anyone's got a blue plaque on their house or near them, because often they're very
Yeah.
obscure. Having one on your house must be brilliant.
Yeah.
I tried to buy Peter Cushing's house in Whitstable.
Did you?
And what had happened, this is the horror of it, he had a big house on the front, but after he died, they split it into two houses. And the half of the house I was looking at didn't have the plaque. Well, you don't
forget it.
You don't want Peter Cushing's house, and...
Forget it.
Like the fact you said that's the horror of it. For
Oh,
Peter
yeah.
Cushing's house.
Absolutely perfect. I must stop doing that at work.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
You've lit up the switchboard, as they say.
Hey.
Well, actually, only me says that these days.
Clive Silas, Torrington Park N12. There's a plaque on an ordinary semi from Eric Morecambe where he lived with his in-laws who owned a pub.
He lived with his in-laws.
Who owned a pub? I'll say it again. Who owned a pub?
Who owned a
I'm
pub?
going to mime that drinking thing he did when he raised his arm.
Excellent.
But
People have spoken.
Doesn't work on the radio.
Karen says, my friend owns a house with a blue plaque for Wallace Hartley, the band leader on the Titanic.
Wow. We just mentioned the band on the Titanic.
That's our role today, as you say.
Small world.
Hi, Frank and
Do you
team.
think it's true that they carried on playing?
Yeah.
Well, you would. If you were doing a stand-up gig in that scenario, you'd carry on, Frank. I know you.
Oh, yeah.
So would you, Al.
I've had stand-up
Cracking
gigs
wise,
that feel like I'm on the Titanic.
Well, the Brits was one.
Yeah, I can see the fish going past the windows.
Yeah. Hi, Frank and team. 298 has texted in.
What was it called? Wallace?
Hartley.
Okay.
Why are you writing it down? You're going to give him a call. He's not around anymore.
I have a feeling that will crop up again in my life. I won't feeling a bit Wallace Hartley.
All right. So you've made a note of it?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Not lovely that he does. Is that
Isn't
what
it?
you do, Frank?
Isn't it sweet?
Hey, ugly notes, ugly results.
You're right. I feel bad now. Hi, Frank and team. Rio Ferdinand has a blue plaque in Peckham. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's Peckham Park Road. Michael from Peckham. Do you think he's trying
amazing.
to text more Peckhams than anybody else has ever texted to Absolute?
He was in my hotel in Paris.
Who? Michael
Rio.
from
Bloke
Peckham.
from Peckham.
No, Rio.
Oh,
He is that bloke from Peckham. He's could have gone early with the Rio Ferdinand plaque.
Yeah, they really have.
Well,
good for him. Blue plaques. My wife's favourite blue plaque is in Bruce Grove, Tottenham. It says Luke Howard, namer of clouds.
I absolutely love that.
what does that mean?
Well, he's invented the cloud name, Frank. He must be some
it like
sort of scientist.
Nimbulus?
Yeah.
Cumulonimbus and all that.
Yeah.
Aren't they all Latino names?
I mean,
They are, yeah. Cirrus and...
Oh, that's Harry Potter, isn't it?
Fluffy.
Oh.
No,
yeah. Fluffy.
You cannot be serious.
Oh,
That was what I was told at the audition. Oh, another opposite piece of music.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Morning, guys and gal. This isn't me speaking, by the way. I'm
I
reading.
thought that was a bit formal.
Morning, guys and gal. Blue plaque locale. What?
I like
I
that.
think this might be a beatnik poet that's just texted in now. Morning, guys and gal. Blue plaque locale. I lived in New Cross years back, and it's not a poem, by the way.
South East London.
It is New Cross.
For people listening outside of the...
Very London today, showing it.
Sorry about
Oh, what do you expect from us media gets?
Yeah, I lived in New Cross years back.
Siege mentality.
2 doors down, you say that, 2 doors down from a blue plaque dedicated to none other than Barnes Wallace. I felt ever so safe.
Oh, yeah.
Gregor in Lewisham.
Bouncing Bomb. Barnes Wallace. Dam Busters. Etc. Etc.
And in fact, John 491 has also texted. There's a blue plaque dedicated to Barnes Wallace in New Cross. Everyone's going to the New Cross
I
bus
wonder why
garage.
that one has been singled out.
Well,
New Cross.
by singled out, covered twice, I suppose is another way of
Yeah, but
looking
if you
at it.
consider how many blue plaques there are,
And I do,
how
frequently.
many are there?
Would it make you buy a house?
There's more than 8.
I went to look at a house with a blue plaque once, and it was a pokey little place, I won't lie. But the fact that it had a Peter Sellers plaque,
Oh, yeah.
that made me think. It was on a main road.
Mm-hmm.
I
Did it have
believe
a cellar?
Mackenzie Crook might have been the previous owner.
Okay.
But it nearly pushed me over the edge. I thought, no, I'm going to get this, because it's very cool to have the Peter Sellers
Yeah.
plaque.
I might have gone for the Peter Cushing had the plaque been on my side of the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
But, you know, regrets. I've had a few. Mm-hmm. Something wrong with my throat.
Den Wilkinson, on
Yeah.
another matter, has tweeted us saying, will Brexit become a noun to describe people's inclinations? E.g., are you coming to Nan's? No, she's a bit too Brexit.
Oh.
This is
Oh, it could
suggestion.
be.
Yeah.
Could be. I'm thinking that next time I leave a job, will it be a Frexit?
No, lovely, Frank.
Why leave it?
Brexit.
Why leave it? A Frexit.
Oh, yeah.
Come with me.
Yeah, I'm following now.
If anyone's got any good ideas on that, why not text it? So, oh,
I mean,
it's
this
all
isn't
happening.
true. I think they've done a bit of a Photoshop thing here. There is a blue plaque they've sent in saying Brian Harvey, boy band member, ran himself over with his own car at this spot after eating 3 tuna mayo jacket potatoes.
That's
May
gotta be-
2005. That can't be real.
I
surely.
I don't think that would have got through the heritage
No.
thingy,
No.
whatever they're called. What they call the people?
English heritage.
Yes.
Is
Yeah.
it?
English heritage. Come on! sorry,
People have
for you.
spoken, Frank.
Like I say, Magic FM, not me.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
Oh, I tell you what I wanted to discuss was, you know, the virals, Frank.
Yes, I'm sorry about that.
That's why he's on the natural yoghurt.
Yeah, I mean, I had a temperature, but I didn't really think it was anything off
No,
it.
no, they were invented by the namer of clouds. Anyway,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
been a rather curious incident with a driving instructor, and it went viral
Oh, yes.
because it was a bizarro exchange of texts from this character. He's an 18-year-old lad from Lancaster. He decided to have lessons with another driving instructor, presumably due to lack of availability. He had his test coming up. I don't know the details of these people's lives.
It was
However,
exactly that. It was exactly that. He
thank
had a
you very
test
much.
coming up and his instructor was too busy.
Yeah, so
He
he
thought.
texted him and said, I've got some lessons with Kath from Black Cat. Mm-hmm. Oh, reputable. He said, after that, he said, you know, hope you don't mind. And the instructor, he went a bit postal, didn't he, Al?
He did. He did. He sent him some text saying, you've wound me up. Let's say it
Yeah.
in,
Okay.
He said, I
in
don't...
more broadcastable language.
Well, I'll tell you exactly what he said. He said, just go with Kath then. Not the first time you've heard that.
No.
Just go with Kath then. I don't share pupils, Matt. Not happy.
Well, I have to say, I'm with the driving instructor on
Oh,
this.
what a surprise.
Knew it.
No, I think, you know,
Oh,
if you...
come
you
on.
want us... There's no loyalty left
Loyalty left.
in the world. And, you know, we've all thought when a relationship, you know, breaks up, the equivalent of what's Cass from Black Cat got that I haven't. And I can absolutely imagine
No self-respect.
sending that. Oh, if you want to go with Cass from Black Cat, so be it. Yeah, really, though.
Well,
You don't-
really? Over
I
a
don't
driving
want-
instructor? But you're not having the physicals with the Catherine Black Cat.
Well, no, but if you're
As
a
far as we
driving
know.
instructor,
Physicals changed it all.
It's a no, but it's a similar experience.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if I was loyal to Keith.
Keith, your driving instructor.
Lovely man.
Lovely man.
My driving instructor, of course, is dead.
Not in a RTA, road traffic accident.
No, old age.
Oh, okay, that's fine then, isn't it?
How's the horse?
What would I exactly? Oh dear! I remember seeing an advert in a paper. It was encouraging. It was a place that trained you to be driving instructors.
Oh, yeah.
And it was called something like. I mean, it was something like so obvious, like Teach Drive Limited. And they had these testimonials from people, and one of them was a bloke saying, "I did a course at Teach Drive, and I've never looked back." It's a terrible example you're setting your pupils.
Absolute Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Meanwhile, over in Lancaster,
Oh yeah, Frank.
Kath from Black Cat,
Yeah.
who's caused quite an incident.
You can't
really.
blame Kath from Black Cat.
No, you got to blame the lad or the
Can't
driving
blame
instructor.
Kath.
for
First
being
time you've
so
ever said that.
busy.
No. The drive instructor was absolutely green with envy. And then he was amber with envy. And then he...
God, I think I prefer your blue stuff.
Very good. Traffic light jokes on Absolute Radio. That's what it's come to.
It's traffic light jokes, Al.
I liked it.
Not easy.
He's right,
I like
though.
Anything
to be fair.
Frank says.
I think it's a shame, but also I think it's brave of this young man to go
I thought you
on
were going to
the-
say for him to do his traffic
Oh,
light
no, no.
material.
I think it's a shame that they've fallen out, him and
Yeah.
his first driving instructor, but it's quite brave that he's gone on the social media and mocked him, because,
Yes.
like, there's probably only 10 driving instructors in Lancaster, isn't there? There's not
I
that,
should think
it's not
so.
a densely
There's
populated...
Kath.
Well,
Yeah,
I have...
Kath from
I
Black
can only
Cat.
name one.
Kath from Black Cat.
Yeah.
And
I
the
think
other
this
guy.
has been a great advert for Black Cat.
I know.
I thought it was bad luck. Isn't it bad luck if a Black Cat goes
Well, that's
out
what
in
I mean.
front
I don't think they've thought
Yeah.
this through, Black Cat.
of- No.
Yeah, I'm
Maybe
worried
it's
about
good
that.
luck.
Or maybe it means that you
I-
get to practice your emergency stop quite a lot, because you're
I
often
used to
seen...
love that, the old rolled up, whatever they had, their notes and the A to Z, and they just suddenly
the
do that.
dashboard.
Yeah. Do they-
Oh, for emergency
Someone
stop,
told
do they
me-
not do that anymore?
I don't think they do it anymore.
They have to do
so.
a special test as well.
They do
Like
parking.
a theory test,
They do
don't
parking now.
they? Do they, the
theory.
millennials?
If they'd done parking in my day, I'd still be on the bus.
Can I just say, we've got a millennial here in the studio. I'm going over to her live. Sarah says you don't do parking. Frank.
Don't do parking?
No.
No, I'm saying you didn't have to do parking.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, I
So
see.
you do parking.
Not
Do you do
really.
emergency stop, Sarah?
What is this? Some weird interview outside the House of Parliament?
It is.
Oh, excellent. 631 has texted traffic light gags. That makes a change.
Excellent, very good.
Excellent.
I think at this junction it was worth trying.
Very good. Very good. I think we should reverse out of this, though. I really
Thank
do.
you.
Do you know, I
think-
like the pause as he said that, and you waited to come up with your reverse one.
And remember, soon we'll all be driving British cars.
Sadly, an industry that no longer exists.
With a British industry. Oh, there is.
They'll respond. The
Yeah,
EU
probably with
will
the industry.
respond.
We haven't got any anymore.
No, but the EU will respond like this instructor. We'll say, do you want to buy some of our cars? Oh, no, why don't you sell them to your new friends?
I'll tell you what, the EU is the ex you don't want to mess with.
Have you guys had
And
this?
I should
though?
know.
No.
Have you had-
No, the ex I don't want to mess with. I'll tell you after.
Have you had a version of this with a customer service provider that you feel like you've cheated on? Because I have. I'll
Yeah,
put my hand
oh.
up now.
Because you're quite a reasonable type, so I'm surprised.
Well, my family and I are trying to eat the best quality meat that
like
we
David
can.
Mellor,
If we-
having had an affair.
I love this.
If we eat meat, we want it to be from like high-end, like good butchers,
From the
where
high end.
the animal husbandry's
Yeah,
been good,
never
and
eat,
blah 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 blah.
never eat
Grass-fed
meat
beef
from the
and all
low
that.
end. That's my advice.
So
now you tell me.
So I started going to I started going to a butcher that was a little bit of a drive away from me, but it was a very good butcher, and the guy started to get to know me, and I gave him some tickets for his show and
Sounds
stuff.
a bit dodgy.
Can I ask you,
Guys started to get
And
to
I
know
think
me.
I think he listens to the show as well.
On
so
the
I feel
way
a bit
back,
awkward.
do you have the meat in the car with you or in the boot?
I either, whichever would work for me. But also
Don't put it in the boot,
also he
Frank.
delivers, which is good, because then you get the chance to say, "Do you deliver?" and him say, "I deliver. I do sausages. I do." All that. Love those jokes.
I bet
Anyway,
he goes home to his wife and says, I've had to make these terrible jokes again.
I
because of
now
that."
feel bad because he has my phone number because he was.
Butcher's got your phone
My
number.
butcher had my phone number because he was delivering the Christmas meat, and he wanted to know what time I'd be in at. But
Okay.
now I've started to use another butcher just because it's in a place that I'm more frequently in, so I don't have to drive to
I
him,
know that one.
and I don't have to arrange a delivery. And then he texted me saying, "Are you all right, Alan? Tell me you haven't gone vegetarian." And I had to text back saying, "I've just been getting it from somewhere that I go more often."
What did he say?
I think he's all right with it.
You've given him the chop. I'm sorry. I mean,
That is
what's
good.
going
That
on
is
with
good.
this show?
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Ian Angle, who texts the show regularly, has texted saying that my butcher's going to give me the cold shoulder now.
Excellent work.
Oh,
It is good, isn't it?
lovely.
Thing it's all right sitting at home mulling it over during the song, but to come out with it like that, that's why I'm sitting here. And the Angle's on his I imagine he's on a tea chest.
Why has he become some
Grand.
strange professional rival of yours?
I wish Ian Angle would tell us whether he's called Angle or Angel.
He has several
he
times,
Angel?
but we just keep
But he was
getting-
able to
I'm
tell
loving
us.
Angels instead.
Yeah, was it?
I love Angel. I think it's Angel, is it?
I think he probably told us in the form of a pun, and we couldn't quite.
Well, we assumed
I think
when
Emily
I'll tell you
deliberately
what
got
it
it
is.
wrong on purpose.
When we were in the EU, it was Angle, like Angular. Now it's Angel. We don't do the hard G anymore.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, thank you. Bit of politics, thank you.
I haven't done any RG for years.
Anyway,
Give
you
me
know, you were
nosebleeds.
talking about feeling like you cheated on your butcher.
Yes.
I
That's the promo for the show done. Good.
I get that same sensation with my hairdresser. Because when I go to the salon, you normally have a hairdresser, a stylist as we call it, that you use. Now, if I can't get in with him one day, needs must, very similar to the Catherine Black Cat scenario, if I have an event coming up, etc.,
Yeah, can't wait.
I will need to get the hair done pronto.
I'm the same with lamb chops. It's exactly the same.
Well, yeah.
I've got an event.
But when you go in and you make the appointment, and what will happen, I've had this with some stylists, they'll come over and it's so passive-aggressive, the atmosphere.
Oh.
They'll say, didn't know you were in today.
Oh yes. I can feel my stomach tightening at the thought
Yeah.
of that.
They're missing out on a big tip from me as well. I'm known as a big tipper.
Does
Yeah.
not surprise me. I went and bought some. I needed some sunglasses.
Oh.
Oh, Frank, what about when you bought the glasses?
So I was with.
Bought some.
Yeah, so I've been talking about it for ages. Basically, I was given a load of free ones years ago, so I haven't bought any for a long time.
He was given it because he went with Jeff
Let's just get
Brazier.
slightly more forensic than that. Weren't you given the run of a sunglasses shop and you came out with 17 pairs?
I was given, well remembered, 17 pairs and 2 for my personal assistant.
And which celebrity were you with?
Jeff Brazier had 14. No, he had 12 pairs. And I was not going to be outdone by Jeff Brazier.
Well, he'll need them this morning.
In the green
I suspect he's celebrating this morning, let's just say.
So I've worn them. That was probably 12 years ago, and I've worn them all out, sat on them, done all the things one does.
It's almost like they were poor quality.
No,
and
they
they
weren't.
didn't last
Lasted
forever.
him-
They
lasted
weren't.
them
They
a year
were
each,
all
nearly.
the brands. 2 of them were diesel.
Wow.
So, but I got rid of them because they're ruining the environment. But,
Loads of jokes today, isn't it?
Just an opportunity, no.
but I thought I came to buy. I need some new ones, basically, and I asked someone. I said, "Where do you get sunglasses?" I had no idea, and they said, "Oh,
Where
your
do you
best-
get sunglasses? Like California man just landed.
No, I really had no
Where do
idea.
you get sunglasses in this
But
place?
if you haven't bought them for you, I kind of forgot where you get them.
Yeah.
So anyway, they said, well, your most obvious bet is sunglasses hot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I was walking through Covent Garden with Emily Dean.
Just looking for a hut.
We had a lovely
Well, I
walk.
wasn't looking for anything. We were just talking.
He was looking for a hut. I think he thought it would be like
Yeah.
a tiki hut with all sort of raffia on it.
We were shooting the breeze. It was a cheese tasting exhibition. And I saw, I had no idea it was there, I saw a sunglasses hut, so we went in. But I made the mistake of going in with Emily Dean, who says things like, you get what you pay for, and all that. I ended up, I don't know how this happened, but I bought a pair of sunglasses for £125.
Whoa! Good God.
They're stunning, though. How nice do you look in them?
No, but I'd rather look a bit less nice for less money.
Oh, well, that can be arranged.
No,
Just
but
put those old ones on.
I never occurred to me they'd have glasses of that price in a place that's, a hot.
Yeah.
You don't spend that sort of money in a hot,
What,
normally.
what sort of hut were you expecting? I think
a
you
hut in
took it
Covent
too
Gardens.
literally.
Well,
Do you know what, Frank? On the
okay,
plus side,
Jabba the Hot can be expensive, but a hot, I thought, it says cheapness, doesn't it? It's like tie rack, sunglasses, hot. They sound a bit
That's how
pop-up.
they
well, I
lure you
didn't
in,
know how
innit?
to break it to you, but then I've got to be honest. You put those on, you looked absolutely magnifique.
But everybody looks good in
No,
sunglasses.
some people look.
Oh, no.
Some people look like close protection. Some people look like air traffic controllers. You look like a lovely, handsome, middle-aged man in sunglasses.
Oh, that's nearly perfect description.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
I tell you, this week I was on a train. I know I'm often on a train.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to... Before I got on the train, I went to the first-class lounge at Euston. Okay.
Hey, if anybody's thinking he's one of those
media
lovers.
So anyway,
booked it in advance and he got it for about 36 quid, didn't you?
Was that what happened?
I didn't buy the ticket.
I'm only kidding. I didn't think for a second you would have.
I was on... no, can I say this now? And I'm in nobody's pay. But if you're going to go first class, it's Virgin first class on the train you want. Because the other first class... Because you get things like a hot meal and freedom. I've been on a lot of first classes on trains. You wouldn't even... You get a slightly more stylish antimacassar.
This is very relatable material.
But that's all. But just for people who are at this moment profoundly resentful that I go first class, paid for by other people. Apart from Virgin first, you wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah.
That's it. It's the antimacassar and that's it.
I agree.
So anyway, I was excited to be travelling Virgin, and I went to the Virgin first class, and there was a man who was in the midst of complaining at the counter. I mean, he was absolutely furious.
Was he incandescent?
He was... his name was Ian Candescent.
Imagine if that was someone's name.
He's got a bit of a short fuse, generally. But he was going on to these two women to the point where I thought, I've got to get away from this bloke.
What was he saying then?
He was talking about something that hadn't happened and something that should have happened. I didn't really...
Thursday morning, by any chance?
No.
Friday morning.
No, it was... anyway, Tuesday. So, as I left, we said, I want to see someone superior. I thought, well, you are someone superior as far as but he said, no, I need to see someone who's at a management level above you. I mean, he was really patronising.
Oh, dear.
Oh, I don't like that.
So as I was leaving, a person had turned up, this man had turned up with, he'd got a laminate on and stuff like that. And he was,
I like him already.
A bit customer servicey. And this bloke had got one of those camera phones.
Oh, yeah.
You know, have you seen them?
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah.
And this bloke was he was filming him from 6 inches from his face. He was asking him questions, and the man was saying, if you could stop filming me, sir, he said, I am trying to deal with your concerns. It was like...
Is it like Roger Kirk?
It looked like he was filming an episode of Creature Comforts.
Oh.
This poor bloke was saying, no, I am trying to help you, sir, but it would help if you weren't filming me. The bloke was being all polite and stuff.
Oh.
And obviously it was funny as well.
It's hilarious. But they do that more, these people.
I did think, what a poor piece of footage that would be. To have on your phone. You know when you sit with your phone and say, look at this. Oh, look at this.
Have you looked for it on YouTube yet?
I wonder if it is on YouTube.
Well,
must be
Frank,
on there
I'd like
somewhere.
to interject at this point, because I've seen this happen before. I saw a cyclist have an altercation with I think he was a cab driver, and he was standing over the car bonnet filming him, obviously furious.
Yeah.
And I heard him say at one point, yep, I've got you here, and what a very handsome man you are.
Oh.
Because the man wasn't handsome.
Oh.
I was being ironic.
But why do they do it as a threatening gesture or something?
I think it's partly that, and partly if it goes legal, you've got... I don't know if you can use it in court or
I don't
not.
think so.
Maybe they just be a nice thing to watch.
But it's just
takes all sorts.
how the world has changed that people are standing filming each other.
Different. Yeah.
Oh, I think my time here is more or less done.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Frank, we were talking about circus music just now.
Yeah, we were. You know, you talk about circus music. Well, I was on about... I think it's called March of the Gladiators.
It goes?
Well, I could be wrong. It goes...
I can't stop laughing. Sorry, you
We were talking about that. Well, no. And I said the middle eight of that is one of the great middle eights of all.
Which
music.
goes, Frank?
Dun, 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 dun. That is... You know what?
Stirring, even now.
Well, there's a slight melancholia.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about it. It's a bit like in the Live and Let Die bit, when they go a bit reggae. Do you know the bit I mean?
What does it matter to you? Yeah.
And it's like, no,
In case you
where have
don't
we
know
gone
what I'm-
now? We've gone somewhere weird.
We're calling it a middle eight. There may be musicians who say that's wrong, but it's basically that different bit
Is
that
it
you
a
get in the middle of
tuba-based bit? Du- 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 du-
Like
du-
the
du-
bit
du.
in the Congo that goes da na 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 na.
I was saying to Frank, he's already done Desert Island Discs, but I really wish you'd picked that. And Kirsty would have asked you, so Frank, why have you picked this?
Yeah, what I should have picked on Desert Island Discs, I've often thought, is the music from Desert Island Discs. I think if you're on a desert island, you want to be a bit self-dramatising.
Nice.
Yeah.
Be nice.
I don't know what there's probably a middle eight to that.
Yeah, but it's no, Anyway,
Oh, Absolute Radio, where real music matters.
we're discussing
What's your favourite
Entrance of the Gladiators.
What's your favourite circus tune?
No, I'd love to know what the
Who
their
composed
favourite
that?
middle eight.
Entrance to the Gladiators.
It's Entrance, is it, rather than March?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
If you have
It's all gone a bit,
if you have
Hunter.
answers to any of the above questions, text 8 12 15. They will. They will.
I've built this thing. It's like a sort of a barrel organ, but it's powered by solar energy, and it's a bit sluggish. But here we go. It's that
good,
was
that.
my
like
solar-powered...
I like the colour you've painted it. It's nice.
Thanks. Well, I thought I'd go a bit circusy with it. I mean, I know it's, it represents the modern age, but I like a hark back.
We've had an email entitled Butcher. On my first week in London, I went to a local butcher and ordered loudly some mice meat instead of minced. Everybody in there looked in total shock. It's funny now, but back then was terribly embarrassing.
I
don't know how you could do that.
I think I'd have got myself out of it by saying, I'll kill that typist. It's your only chance. Go back in and try that.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We should discuss a story of a gentleman in Texas. Now, I remember years ago you doing some stand-up about the two words that make any story believable being in America.
Indeed.
And I've always liked that. There's a gentleman in
Thank
Texas.
you, Alan.
It's I'm fond of some of your stuff,
Cheers, I appreciate it. I'm fond of a lot of yours.
Oh, that's very kind of you. This guy in Texas got a $212 speeding fine, which is £147. I don't know how it's that much.
It's weird, isn't it? It must be done by how many miles an hour you're doing.
That's not the end of the story, by the way.
Okay.
In case anyone's listening going, right, they're doing links about how speeding fines are high in America. But he was so miffed, he decided to pay it in pennies. So he went in and paid $212.
What are pennies in America?
Cents.
Is it 1 cent?
Is it the same as a cent?
So that would have been...
Well, not anymore.
That would have been a lot of cents. I mean, I'm not a maths expert. I know I'm sometimes called Aladdin on the show, but that sounds like
One of the
it
best
would
names
be...
you've ever had, Aladdin.
Would that be 200 and... It'd be 21,200 pennies, would it?
I don't know, is it?
He sounds like a smart aleck
He does.
to me.
It's an awful
Is
lot.
that right?
And it says apparently that it's gone viral, and it says
Everything's gone viral, any old
True enough.
rubbish.
he finishes it by saying, "Just mail me the receipts. You got my address." You know what I hope? I hope the clerk, whose job it is to do, I hope he sends him a receipt, but in one of those giant lottery winners' checks, like that.
Yes.
Well, he overpaid, didn't he?
There you
Did you
go.
see that?
Did he?
Well, they ran out after him and went, sir, trying to give him his change.
He
Oh,
overpaid
good.
by,
I believe he said, keep your change.
70
That was his
pennies or
payoff.
something.
What was the thing he said at the end, Al? Did he say, keep the change?
Just mail me the receipt. You got my
Oh,
address.
yeah. No, I noticed that because he said it twice. And that really ruined his whole thing.
Oh.
Because he thought his killer line, Frank, and then he was worried that they hadn't heard it. So he went back.
When people do that thing.
He said, mail me the receipt. And there was a pause. And he went, yeah, mail me the receipt. Don't
Yeah,
say it
that's
twice.
terrible.
Too
But
much.
I must admit, I've done that. When you do it, you think, well, they couldn't have heard that, or they would have laughed. And then you do it again, and they did hear it.
Yeah.
And then you've done it again.
Just been a decision taken that it wasn't funny.
No, it was terrible.
Yeah. It could be.
He states his video. He says at the end, Frank, he says, end the police state. Well, it's not really a miscarriage of justice.
No, it's speeding fine.
And you were caught.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
like the old basketball tradition of if you foul someone, you have to hold your hand up and
Oh,
acknowledge that you've done the foul.
Well, these
Why don't
people
we all
won't
do
do
that in
that.
society?
Yeah.
Instead of being like, what's he called, Brett Sanders.
Yeah, Brett Sanders.
Brett Sanders and his terrible life. Apparently
He's an IT consultant.
He's posted several other videos on the
has he?
internet of him paying fines with small change.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want that to be your thing. Do you? Oh, that's Brett. He's the small change fine.
Paying fines in
Well-
pennies guy.
Although imagine if
Oh.
Absolute Radio paid us in that way, I'd quite like it. You just had to take buckets home.
What, speak for yourself. I could get mine in my breast pocket. But, you know, I don't do it for the money, I do it for love. That's what I make them tell me.
I do it
Yeah.
for my love of both of you.
Oh.
I do it for love and money, guys. And money.
I do it for love, money, and just to get out of the house.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio, with Emily Dean and Alan Cockerel. Text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
On the subject of the emails, we could spend a little time in the corner.
Let me, Oh, I'll tell you what.
Let you find your burger.
Oh.
Oh. Taking you back.
Oh, do you know, I'd forgotten how good that was.
Yeah.
That's my
from,
moment.
I say that most mornings.
It's from Absolute 90s, that one. Dear Frank, Emily...
Cornflakes. I love you. I love them. Anyway.
Dear Frank, Alan and Emily, your correspondent last week was quite right to suggest that Sir Isaac Newton invented the cat flap.
Yeah.
That's what we covered last week. For anybody that didn't,
Of his many achievements, that was what we
cat
covered.
flap. Not
The
flat cap, that would be...
No,
Not
and the
true.
person who told us said he was a bit of a git as well.
That's it.
Oh, yeah. We had an inquest, didn't we? We had an on-air
did.
inquest into whether or not Sir Isaac Newton
was a bit of a git.
bit of a git. Hashtag late review. However, as Alan suggested at the time,
I
Frank
think I
is...
said he was miserable as sin. Sir Isaac Newton.
Oh, that's
why
right.
I think I called him a nasty piece of work.
Are we just going to relive last week's show? Is this absolute last week?
Well, now I'm not sure I did say that. Maybe
Well,
that's,
I'm feeling
maybe
nostalgic
that's
for
a
last
A
week.
brilliant joke.
If you'll forgive me, I wish it was last week. Anyway,
So people say miserable as sin, they mean miserable as Sir Isaac Newton.
Yeah.
oh, I didn't get that at the time, but that's first class.
I'm not sure I said it last week.
They don't,
I mean,
they
they
don't.
just drop off me like windfall fruit.
I know, but I've given you something
What
for
a
that.
lovely turn of phrase. Windfall fruit. However, as Alan suggested at the time, Frank is very free and easy giving respectamundo
I wouldn't say that.
without being in possession of all the facts. What the previous
Really?
writer didn't mention, I hope this is true because I love
Al,
this.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but he says I wouldn't say that. He gave respectamundo to Slaven Bilic for smoking last week.
Well, yeah, and I mean, absolute radio policy, of course,
Yeah.
is don't smoke. But there's something about if you look like an East European bloke, ex-footballer made out of granite,
Yeah.
you kind of feel like you should have a little bit of a smoke.
Okay, over to
He
you,
has
Al.
been a revelation, hasn't he? Slaven Bilic as a pundit has been a real
I love
breath of
Slaven.
fresh air, ironically.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Something he is not for me.
Is he on the ITVs?
Yes.
Oh, I only watch the BBCs.
What the previous writer didn't mention was that when his cat had a kitten, Newton cut a second, smaller hole in his door so that the kitten could also come and go freely. The kitten promptly followed its mother through the larger hole. Proves again that you can be academically clever, but you can't beat good old-fashioned common sense. Yours unpraisingly, Bill Badger. I wonder if that's a nom de plume from Bill there.
Might
Bill
not be. I
Badger.
think I knew someone called Badger
Did you?
before. Well, it was, actually, it was a badger.
What about Ruth Badger from The Apprentice?
Good point.
Thank you.
I mean, I didn't want this to become an inquest into whether or
People
not the name
call
Badger is real.
Yeah, I think Bill Badger might be.
But I love the idea that.
I bet he's got through a few cat flaps looking for milk.
Bill Badger. But in a way, we give Sir Isaac Newton the credit for many things, but we don't give him the credit for being the inventor of the cat flap, or, as indeed he was, the inventor of the kitten flap.
The kit flap.
One of his failed inventions.
Kit flap sounds like a celebrity couple's portmanteau name, doesn't it?
Kit flap, for if Kit Harington meets someone called Flap.
Yeah. You know all those people you meet called Flap.
And also, Kit's from a very rarefied circle. He's not with anyone called Flap.
Is he?
It's a lovely story. I mean, you can see the logic.
True.
He was a logician, wasn't he? Partly. I think he invented calculus. I don't know what that means, but it sounds clever.
Sin was.
Pardon?
Sir Isaac
Sin?
Newton.
Yeah. But he thought... I'll tell you what, we're told he's not a nice bloke, but the fact that he had cut a separate flap for the kitten...
It seems really kind.
Side of him, doesn't he?
It also says a lot about security in those days. I mean, imagine having 2 cat flaps now.
Different world.
Remember, I've got
Smallest man in the world, no longer with us sadly, but Kagendra Tapamaga. Do you remember him?
Well, then, you mean the ex-smallest man in
I'm
the world?
sorry, I do apologise. It moves quickly,
It does.
and I can't keep up with them. However,
They do, then.
he was no heaping ping, but Kagendra Tapamaga, there was a photo of him next to the cat flap to prove that he could use it to go in and out.
He went in and out of a cat flap.
Yeah.
Grotesque, please, Black and Bagger did that. Well... He couldn't have done that if it wasn't for... Oh, my God, actually, there's something I want to ask you about Sir Isaac Newton.
Okay. I'm your woman.
I like to use these teasers to hold on to the audience. It's like Big Brother.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
You had some topical material on Isaac Newton.
And when you've done that, I've got some blue plaque news as well. So
what about if we combine the two?
And I was going to sing Entrance to the March of the Gladiators, whatever it's
What a
called.
lovely day we're having.
We've gone a bit Brexit today.
Did Isaac Newton, did he invent Newton's Cradle? Do you remember Newton's Cradle?
what, the steel balls that hit off each other?
It was one of the most 80s
Oh, the businessman
things.
toy?
Yes.
Businessman's toys?
My son has some.
Do they still...
They do still exist, Frank. I know you'll be pleased to
The
know.
first person to show me his Newton's Cradle was Sheridan Morley.
That
Is
wasn't a
that right?
euphemism, was it?
I associate... did you show him your kit flap?
Oh, my God.
I associate him with yoppies.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
the yoppies?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember them.
And blokes be sitting in the office all day in the city and they just start the old...
Yes.
Do you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
Sarah?
Yeah.
You absolutely don't.
She does. She does.
Are they,
Do you think he
I didn't know
invented
they were called
those?
Newton's Cradle, though, Frank.
I believe they're called that. And am I right that they symbolised, or they demonstrated perpetual motion? So if there's any science-type people listening, if I let the ball go on my Newton's Cradle, would it go forever?
Newton's.
Would it...
Well, I was told by a therapist, yes, I've had therapy, I'm sorry, that they represent, there's a bit of game theory there as well. So the further away you get from someone, the more they will come back to you, you see. There you go.
Right.
Oh, I doubt if Sir Isaac Newton was thinking
just-
that.
Well, he was a
represented
nasty piece of work, so you never know.
Nice piece of work.
so.
He took time out from his studies to make a special hole for a kitten. So come on.
You were telling earlier about how you went past a blue plaque in Marylebone, London,
Yes.
but you didn't get the chance to read.
And it could have been Linda Ronstadt.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dear
have we had
Frank,
news here now?
Have we got the answer? Oh, this will make me so happy.
I'm not sure it will. I mean, I'll have a go at making you happy with it, but I don't think it'll work. Dear Frank, there are 65 blue plaques in Marylebone. None of them are for Linda Robson. Be specific, man. What bus were you on?
I was on a 46.
He was on a 46 emailer.
Yeah. I was on my way to Lord's Cricket Ground.
Yeah.
Well,
And this was on, it looked like it was on a big public building. We'll continue the search. I know it's gripping for everyone else. I
Isn't
tell
it?
you what, whatever happened to the
Whatever happened to...
The third world's shortest man, Chandrahadra Baggy.
No, the Rubik's tetrahedron. Remember that?
No.
Rubik's Cube.
Rubik's tetrahedron.
Oh, was that after the cube?
Yes.
Oh.
It was the one that didn't quite catch on.
I don't remember.
It was like a pyramid shaped. Do you not remember that?
Was it not tetrahedron shaped? Is that...
Well, that's what a pyramid is, isn't it?
Okay, fair enough.
Think. Well, I remember it being.
Strangest thing two people have ever fallen out over.
I wouldn't say fallen out.
It didn't really catch on. It wasn't that. But it was like every Disney film sequel that's ever been made.
Oh, not quite as good.
You know,
Toy Story's an exception to that rule, Frank.
Well, yeah, but
All fabulous.
I still think Pixar is a bit different.
Disney,
Well, do you know what? Keep that to yourself, out in pride.
If you watch Disney films, though, I mean, the classics, you'll often find there's a two that you didn't even know about.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a Jungle Book 2 or a...
Yeah.
And, oh no, they're a bit Rubik's tetrahedron.
Yeah.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've got some more blue plaque news, and I must say that most
Was it 1812?
Most texters have gone for various spellings of blue plaque, including CK at the end, blue plaque.
Oh, okay.
Which is uncommon.
We don't judge on this show.
But Linda Rothwell from Ernston has texted, morning, there is a blue plague.
Linda who?
Linda Rothwell.
That could be the woman who's on the plaque in Marley Van Road.
No,
Maybe she knows that.
Frank.
But one of the reasons I like it is that her autocorrect has gone for blue plague. It's morning, there is a blue plague at the Trafford Centre.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's not a newsflash, by the way.
I have to text my family saying,
sure
don't go
it said
shopping this
Linda?
afternoon. There's a blue plague at Trafford Centre for Ford Motor Company building the Model T Ford cars in Trafford Park in 1911.
I like that. See,
That is wonderful.
I like the ones that are on a person.
Because let me tell you, an experience at the Trafford Centre involves almost no history. It is one of the most modern, gaudy
Is
kind
it?
of, it's really kind of
Oh, I've
bright
been
and
there.
yeah. It's
saying,
not.
I've
It's
been
not
there.
got like history to
I'll tell you
it.
who's
But I'm glad to hear that
the
that's
king
there.
of them, Charles Dickens. I've
King
seen
of what,
Charles
then?
Dickens blue plaques.
Oh, there's a lovely one in Highgate.
Just everywhere.
He must have just stopped at a lot of places. He must have had a lot of one-night stands.
Well, you know,
Legend.
they
That's
used
why
to
he was
serve
called Charles. Anyway, what did he say?
wherever he laid his hat
Nominative
was his
determinism.
home.
Yeah, wherever he laid his hat. I don't think I've ever
You're
seen
right,
him
there is
in
a
a
lot
hat.
of Charles Dickens.
Everywhere.
Well, no,
Absolutely.
but they sometimes, they push it, they stretch it a bit. They say Charles Dickens once walked past her and said, "Nice garden you've got."
Nice.
Or
Well.
Charles Dickens once spent an hour here
What
for
about-
reasons that will not be disclosed due to his family.
I had a friend who bought a flat, and she got contacted to say that they wanted that Benjamin Britten had composed a couple of important things there, and they'd like to put that on the flat. But you have to get their permission.
Oh yeah.
But they said it usually puts between like 10, 25 grand on your house.
It's all right.
Well, what about if they had 3 lines was written here?
Yes,
My chair just
complicated. You see,
Why is
'cause-
it complicated?
'cause
Did you
the
not write it in the
The music
road?
was written in Liverpool by Ian Brodie, so you can't
Oh.
have a thing saying the lyrics to 3 lines.
Yeah,
You could have a big plaque saying the music was partly written here.
The
lyrics were written here, but the
that's
music
more of
was
a
written- yeah.
proclamation.
Yeah, you may as well just get a motorway road sign in blue and just have it all written out. On Thursday, this is an email, by the way, not me. On Thursday,
Yeah.
after a short shopping spree in Birmingham, I caught the bus back to Aston Cross, where my van was parked, and noticed a blue plaque.
Did you?
Curiosity got the better of me, and I crossed the road to have a look at it, next to the old bomb building. Oh, no, BRMB building.
Oh, BRMB.
Yeah.
BRMB. That'll confuse people who's just tuned in.
And was surprised...
Okay, that was Tony Butler, BRMB Sport.
I was surprised to find the name of Arthur Conan Doyle, who lived there
Wow.
for about 3 years.
In Aston?
In
Yeah.
Aston. I'm currently working on 4 Dwellings School, where Daniel Sturridge went.
I remember 4 dwellings.
Didn't know Daniel Sturridge was from there.
It was quite rough in my day, 4 dwellings.
Was it?
Was it?
I hope it's picked up.
Hope it's improved.
Didn't want to walk past there in your Catholic blazer.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Just a general rule, anyone's listening.
Frank Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Should we go to email too, Frank, as I like to call it?
Yes. Let me find.
Are we going back? Okay.
We'll just get a suitable tune.
We'll need to get new ones done, I think.
Sometime. What about this one? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's Email Corner from Absolute Radio here in Golden Square, London. It's Pride this weekend. Imagine the frivolities all around us. So,
Excellent. I really like that.
Actually giving that a round of applause because it was so good.
Thank you so much.
Round of applause for the police, ladies and gentlemen.
This is from Robin from London. Hi all.
Plenty of that. People have been robbing from London for years.
During the 2010 World Cup,
Oh, yes.
Frank made a suggestion about determining who came first in a qualifying group when the top two teams were tied on points. Oh, you and your alliteration, Robin.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of drawing lots, Frank asked why the two teams couldn't have a penalty shootout.
Yeah, I don't even remember suggesting that, but it's a rattling good idea.
Lots of things you don't remember, Frank, from back then.
That's
He'll
true.
be pleased to hear that UEFA have taken up his idea for the 2016 European Championship. Presumably they didn't give him credit and simply said, we're having that.
That's outrageous. I knew when Joe Pasquale became UEFA president.
He's going to start stealing your ideas.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like we got out of there just in time, that Europe thing. I didn't know they stole jokes. I mean, that changes everything.
But you weren't joking. Were you joking back then?
I thought it was a good idea.
And they've happened to do
I'm
it.
guessing next year in the Premiership we're playing with a brown leather ball with laces in.
Oh, yeah. And future Wimbledons will have no advertising on the clothes.
No advertising.
Oh.
I'd like that.
Wooden rackets?
Yeah.
Would you go as
Yeah,
far
we'll go back
as
the wooden
Ugly
rackets.
back to ugly partners. In the Friends and Family. Then was the glory days.
I love the ugly partners
Glory
and the
days.
friends and
Yeah,
family.
when you looked up to the Friends and Family and there was just like very plain
Well,
people.
we'll test it out, Frank, when we have our day at Wimbledon.
And now even the snooker
Yeah.
players haven't got ugly partners, and you think these are men that don't go outdoors.
No,
Like they've not
yeah.
seen sunshine, but they've managed to meet an attractive
there's
partner.
more beautiful people than there used to be.
I'll tell you who
Yeah.
I like, the darts
You're right.
partners. The Dags.
I've never seen
Some of
any
my
of that.
favourites.
Never seen any of those.
Oh, they're worth a look.
They're often obscured by their partners.
Oh, no, they're, they take up quite a bit of real estate, some of them. But I like the Dags, because they're down to earth.
I have thought in the past that instead of sending people off for a red card, you should give a penalty.
Oof,
Hang on a sec.
controversial.
I think.
Oh,
people,
really? That's quite good. It's more of an incentive, almost.
I think people would be a bit
behave
more
well.
careful about crippling people if there was a. If that was, I mean, it's a theory.
I think you're right.
I did try to think.
There's
it's
no
a-
excuse.
The problem, it struck me, was that if you were 4-1 up, you could think, oh, here's an opportunity to cripple that midfielder I've hated for years. Because you wouldn't get sent off, be a penalty, you're 4-1 up, so what does it matter? That would be a danger. But I like it generally.
Frank, I have a genuine inquiry.
Can you hold it?
Yeah, it's about Isaac Newton, so yeah. I'll trail it.
Okay. We could string the whole show
teaser
together
there.
with
Another Isaac Newton trail.
with Newtonian segways. Newtonian segways the third, I think, is a character in
Oh, that's my next
The
husband, I hope.
Ragged-Trousered Philanthropist.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I caught our cockerel, our very own cockerel, on Corrie.
Oh,
So
yes.
excited.
That's I haven't seen it yet, but it'll be on Catch Up.
I assume so, yes. I imagine.
He was marvellous.
Oh, thank
He
you.
really was. I was really proud of him.
Oh,
that's very
lovely.
kind.
He was.
I didn't watch it. I watched a 0-0 football match.
You didn't watch it?
Yeah, I don't really like watching me. Cause
I know,
feel
but if
like
you're on
it's
Coronation
eggy.
Oh, it was a big moment for me, that watching you on Corrie.
Was it?
Well, you don't do the social medias.
I don't.
So
I
I got
don't do
all the
social
praise. You had
medias.
some lovely comments.
Oh, that's nice. I'll take that. In fact, I'm so non-self-publicising that I actually had to go on the ITV website to read the description of the programme to make sure that it was my episode, so that I could then text my mum saying, "Oh, it's my episode tonight, you want to watch that?"
It's quite a thing, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Coronation Street.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, somewhat. I got texted by Tina who said stole the show.
Oh, good. I'll take stole the show.
Nathan said it's no Jason the Asthmatic, but a confident performance nevertheless.
Confident performance, nevertheless. I'll take that. My friend Leroy texted me, smug husband, solid performance. 4 words, I'll take that.
Yeah.
That's what he played, Smug Husband.
Yeah, I don't think he was saying that I am one off camera, although I am.
No.
And York said boy can act.
Wow.
Boy can
that's all
act.
good.
Take that as well. If there's any casting directors listening, I'm available.
Of course, my great love of Coronation
Ruined it
Street
now.
was Julie Goodyear,
Oh, yeah.
who I
Really?
met. Oh, yeah.
Strange love rival for Kath.
I love Julie Goodyear.
Extraordinary.
No, she's one of those grand dame that you get
Yeah.
in soap opera. And
Pat Phoenix, you know.
yes. And I don't know, I've never seen it, but she said that someone told me it was on Coronation Street that when, do you remember she returned?
Yeah.
For a spell
They all
many years
returned,
later.
Oh, they always come back.
Like boxers. They all
And
come back.
this actress, young actress, just being nice, said, "So how long are you staying there, Julie?" She said, "Not as long as you want me to, cock." Oh, fabulous. What a monster. But it's brilliant.
What a monster.
No, but that was what was brilliant about her, that she was slightly... that's what you want... You want
You want 3% monstrous.
what you do with a star.
You do, Frank.
Yeah.
I did the Royal Variety performance with Dame Shirley Bassey.
He's worked with them all, hasn't he? I mean, that's how many of his anecdotes start.
We arrived about the same time. She completely ignored me, of course. And we I stopped to chat to the man at the stage door.
Common touch.
During-
There you go.
yeah,
He's
Good
very
lads.
good like that. He
Common
never
touch.
forgets
Like
his
that.
roots.
People have spoken. I spoke to him. And if you can't beat them, join them. And as I was speaking to the bloke, Dame Shirley Bassey come out the other way. We'd only just got there. She'd gone into a dressing room. She has a rule that it has to be painted 4 weeks before she arrives, exactly.
Really?
Long enough to be nice,
Oh, yeah.
near enough to be nice, but far enough away to not smell of paint.
Paint fumes.
But she smelled paint, she was straight out of there.
Oh, good rule.
935 years. That's what she said to me. I said, "You all right, Dame?" She said, "Bye." I went to see her live once, and you know when they introduce people in the audience and they stand up and there's a spotlight?
Oh, yeah.
She said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I've got a very good friend here tonight, Larry Grayson."
Brilliant.
It's without doubt the gayest moment of my entire life.
I'll stick around this afternoon.
Oh, and then she sang "I Am What I Am," and I'll admit we all cried.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
So did the Cockerel family watch the Corrie broadcast?
I think my brother's probably switched in between a 0-0 draw on the football on one side and Coronation Street looking for me on the other. But I think the extended family. But it wasn't just Coronation Street that I was in this week. Technically speaking, I was in one of Frank's little ventures.
Were you?
Yep, I was in Room 101, not the television programme.
Sorry, I'll clean that up.
Not the television programme. I checked into a hotel and the guy on reception said, "Oh, I know you from the Frank Skinner show." And I was in Room 101 in the
He
hotel.
did it on purpose.
I don't know. I did have a little look as if to go, but he had a poker face on as if to go, no. But I'm now worried because, I ordered room service. I used certain luggage. Am I allowed to use any of that stuff again?
Now the old training shoe against the door's going to go.
Yeah.
You stay in a lot of hotels,
I do, yeah.
Are you on tour at the moment?
No, I just work.
No, it's just Alan Partridge.
Gigging. But I had sweet potato fries and I like them. So does that mean that?
Oh, no.
What?
All right,
You don't
Katy
like them?
Perry.
That was the original draft of that song, wasn't it?
I'm not a huge fan of them. I think they always disappoint, don't you?
Anything that isn't a
Yeah.
proper crisp.
You don't like sweet potato fries, guys?
Well, it's not crisp,
Oh,
Frank.
this
It's
is
a
it.
chip.
It's over.
Really.
Oh, yeah. You're right. I've met
Gone a bit American. What's happened to you?
I've met the most terrible.
Gone a bit Donald
fool
Trump.
myself. I think now we have to look to America. So as far as they're potato chips.
Well, I've actually got a little bit of advice for you that's come in by email, and it says if you want to identify a blue plaque, use Google Maps and switch to Street View.
That's a really good idea.
So you're talking about...
So I can check out Linda Ronstadt.
Do you know what? I'm
So
going to
where
go
was
one
it?
better than that. I'm going to walk up there today and have a little look-see.
Shut up.
How do you mean that that's better? Because that's going to cost you effort, whereas
I
this
do
is
my
just...
own research, pal.
This is just a
Yes,
flick
I've
of a
said
mouse.
pal.
To be a journalist, remember?
Yes,
Oh,
yes, I've
of
said,
course.
pal, deal with
I
it.
suppose you still are a journalist.
I don't say, yeah.
I used
got
to
a
occasionally,
journal.
when Kevin Phillips played for West Bromwich Albion, I used to text him whenever he'd had a good game or scored, and he always texted back, "Thanks, pal."
Oh, did he?
Exactly that, "Thanks, pal."
Oh.
No capitals, no
What's
comma,
worse, pal
no
or
full
buddy?
I was happy with "Thanks, pal" from Kevin
Okay.
Phillips.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, it's the little things in life.
I don't like men calling me mate. I don't think they should call the ladies mate. I know it's
No.
old-fashioned, but come on.
No.
In the post-Brexit world, what are you going to do?
If you will wear a work shirt,
Yeah, exactly.
it's going to happen. You're going to have to trust me on that, readers.
Yeah,
Anyway.
now that the webcam's gone.
Look,
Yeah.
thank you so much for listening this morning, and do not despair. There has been a few tweets to suggest that the creeks have indeed risen.
But they haven't.
No, it's all right. We're
Resilient, we'll call.
As you know, I'm pretty handy in a rowing boat. So,
I'm an absolute disaster in one.
Martin Lee is coming up next. Look at me, I'm Martin Lee. Come on, everybody!
Oh, so
Lousy
good
with-
for pride.
I don't know what he's lousy with, I don't know him. But if you know him, it's got to rhyme with, well, Martin Lee. So, good luck to him, and our thoughts are with his family. If the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, and they haven't, we'll be all right. We'll be back again this time next week. Now, get out.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.